On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu solicits National Assembly's support to implement critical reforms in Nigeria's oil and gas sector.
He wants me to remind you that recently he signed an executive order to unlock about $10 billion in fresh investments in the sector.
National Assembly resumes plenary after break, just as Senate reconvenes plenary in remodeled chamber.
Most of our soldiers remind us of the grave threats we still face from insecurity and terrorism.
Plus, updates from the state assemblies. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Praise Onwachuku. We begin the news as President Bola Tinubu is soliciting the support of the National Assembly to implement critical reforms in the nation's oil and gas sector to make it globally competitive as well as a propeller for economic growth and development. Represented by his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, at the opening of a two-day retreat for members of the House of Representatives, President Tinubu emphasizes that the executive and legislature share a common responsibility in shaping the future of the nation. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ipen reports.
This retreat for 360 lawmakers at the instance of the leadership of the House of Representatives is anchored on the theme Navigating Change, Legislative Strategies for Economic Transformation. The focus is to enlighten lawmakers on strategies for implementing the Petroleum Industry Act, which everyone agrees is critical to reforming the oil and gas industry. For the government, reforms are ongoing to unlock the potentials of the oil and gas sector, and executive-legislative synergy cannot be overemphasized.
Mr. President says that we are pushing policies to attract investment in the oil and gas sector. He wants me to remind you that recently he signed an executive order to unlock about $10 billion in fresh investments in the sector. This will happen through fiscal incentives for non-associated gas, midstream and deepwater oil and gas developments. We will need, Mr. President says, the support of the National Assembly to fully implement some of these reforms, as statutory changes will be required in some areas.
The legislature, on its part, is ready to aid the president's economic reforms, especially in enacting laws that will strengthen tax administration.
The People's House is ready to collaborate closely with the executive to enact targeted legislative interventions to address our current challenges and capitalize on new opportunities.
This retreat is designed to be a springboard for action. By its conclusion, we aim to achieve a multi-pronged outcome.
Legislative strategies will play a pivotal role in navigating the changes and seizing the opportunities that lie ahead.
The retreat is expected to provide a clear roadmap for legislative roles and oversight in implementing the Petroleum Industry Act. In Abuja, Mitaire Ipen, NTA News.
The nation's workforce is saying its welfare is of top priority to usher in a season of hope renewed as the Bola Tinubu-led administration is working assiduously with the legislature towards a new minimum wage as well as revamping the economy. And this is just as Nigerian workers troop out to celebrate Workers' Day 2024 at Eagle Square in the FCT. Joshua Ogunjide has more.
My salary has not even gotten up from where it was to anything. Then electricity tariff, they just recently increased from before. If I have 3,000, I can buy 40 units of electricity. Now I'm buying 12 units. Then everything in the market, if you buy something for 1 naira today, you go back tomorrow, you're buying it for 10 naira. So it's really, really affecting my income. It's affecting me as a person, as a worker, and as a Nigerian.
It's been tough, but of course we have to survive. So we have to devise other means of making out extra incomes so that we could complement what we get from our offices.
Themed People First, this year's May celebration focuses on how exigent it is for government at all levels to come up with modalities that reflect a long-term solution to the current economic hardship aside the new minimum wage.
Economy goes beyond the minimum wage. The minimum wage is What for? What is the minimum wage for? What will it buy? At the rate of the inflation we have today, with the depreciating naira, even if you pay 500,000 naira minimum wage, the question is, what will you get for you in the market? So the emphasis should not be in improving the minimum wage. The emphasis is to improve the economy so that the money in your pocket will have value.
I don't think there's any amount of money that will be announced for minimum wage that will be enough, because the inflation is neck tightening. Even if they announce 100,000 naira as minimum wage, it has already been eaten up. They should start from making things cheap so that when you get the minimum wage, you can actually buy what you need.
It shouldn't just be a wage that somebody will put in the pocket, and then after 24 hours you don't have anything. But it should be a living wage where you can pay your your children's school fees, you can take care of their health and other needs, and also cater for your other members of the family as well as yourself.
Many people down you are, eating under that your salary. So if the federal government increase the salary, definitely it will affect even those that are not civil servants.
The Senate National Assembly maintains its stance to give the new national minimum wage bill expeditious consideration whenever it receives it from the executive arm of government, in line with the International Labour Organization principle of decent work.
The welfare of the civil servants is the progress of our country, is the welfare of Nigerians in its totality. So the National Assembly is with them, the Senate is with them, and I want to assure you that we will give this bill an accelerated passage, because it has direct bearing on the progress of our country.
The Nigerian Labour Congress at various places, more especially from FCT, has submitted the minimum wage or living wage for the health workers for 700,000 naira for the workers. And we are not expecting anything, 700,000 naira for workers, and we are not expecting anything less than 700,000 naira or above for the health for the workers in the country.
In the meantime, the federal government has approved an increase between 25% and 25% for civil servants on the remaining 6 consolidated salary structures. It has also approved increases in pension between 20% and 28% for pensioners on the defined benefits scheme in respect to the 6 consolidated salary structures, with effect from 1st January 2024. In Abuja, Joshua Ogujide, NTA News.
And meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says finding sustainable solution to the multifaceted challenges of Nigeria requires collective efforts. And this was while welcoming lawmakers back to the plenary after about 6 weeks of recess. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the 10th Assembly senators have, for the first time since their inauguration in June 2023, held plenary in the main chamber, which has been remodeled.
The last time they held plenary was on 20th March. The excitement was obvious, meeting for plenary and in the redesigned Red Chamber, which many of them are stepping into for the first time. After exchange of pleasantries, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, redirected attention to their responsibilities of working towards a better future for Nigerians.
The loss of our soldiers remind us of the grave threats we still face from insecurity and terrorism. The tragic explosion of tanker in Port Harcourt, claiming innocent lives, causing widespread devastation, highlights the urgency of addressing safety measures and ensuring the well-being of our citizens. The increase in electricity tariffs and prices of petroleum products emphasize the pressing need to address issues of affordability, inflation, and the overall well-being of our economy.
Thereafter, plenary continued behind closed doors, which lasted for hours. All items on the order paper were stepped down in honor of late Senator Ayogu Eze, who represented Enugu North from 2007 to 2015.
His death is a great loss to his family, the Senate, the people of his central district, and the Enugu state government.
Plenary has been adjourned to May 7, 2024. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
provide safety and security of children in schools. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, canvassed this at the resumption of plenary after a 40-day recess for Easter and Salah holidays. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen has details.
Lawmakers exchange banters at resumption of plenary, excited at moving back to the main chamber for plenary after 21 months of renovation. The Speaker's opening remarks set the tone as the House condemned the spate of terrorist attacks on schools this year, while affirming support for the security forces to nip the challenges in the bud.
Schools, which should be sanctuaries of learning and safety, have become targets for terrorists and kidnappers. These acts are not only heinous, but are direct attacks on the future of Nigeria and rob children of their right to education and secure childhood. We will not allow the ambitions of our children to be thwarted by fear. The House stands united with the armed forces and will advocate for comprehensive strategies to safeguard our schools.
Adopting a motion of urgent public importance, the House resolved to summon the Minister of Petroleum Resources and industry stakeholders to brief lawmakers on measures being put in place to address the current fuel scarcity and avert reoccurrence. The House also requested the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to suspend the recently announced tariff hike affecting Band A customers, pending an investigation by the legislature.
To suspend the tariff increases, establish a special committee for hearings involving relevant stakeholders, appoint a technical consultant to assess the legality and reasonableness of next procedures, and draft a bill to improve regulatory process in tariff setting.
House has adjourned plenary to 7th May 2024. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikpen, NTA News.
Joining us in the studio to discuss the 10th Assembly and Oversight is the Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Senator Yemi Adaramoja. You're welcome to NTA Parliamentary News, distinguished. A constitutional function of the legislature is oversight. How effective have the committees been in that regard?
The oversight functions of the National Assembly is not even limited to the issue of budgetary performances of the MDAs. Outside that, public interest matters, like when we talk of labor matters, when we talk of even electoral matters, when we talk about either inflationary matters, when we talk about security matters, when we talk about even at times disasters. So those are areas that we have been having oversight. And presently, today, the Committee on Power, they are sitting, calling the public and then the critical stakeholders to deliberate on the tariff hike and then the band A, band B, whatever band that we talk about. So definitely, that is an oversight. And then the issue of security, you will know as pressmen that we have had very closed door meetings with service chiefs, with FCT management and leadership when kidnapping was at its crescendo some time ago. And today we will know that it's coming down at least in a substantially that we can say, oh, there are some things, there are some works that have been done in that wise. It's due to the oversight of the National Assembly. We talk about even the gas and the petroleum sector. Just about 2 weeks ago, the committee on the petroleum and the gas, the upstream, the downstream, so they even went to the refineries, especially the Port Harcourt refineries, to go and see for themselves what is happening. Why are we not having the local production that can ameliorate the problem of the supply into the local market of PMS, especially, which Nigerians do use frequently and always. So that is the function of the oversight functions of the National Assembly. Then even the UTME, the JAMB matter, you see Committee on Tertiary Education going around to UTME centers where our young Nigerians are doing the exam, the entrance exam, which we call the JAMB, the UTME exam, to the various universities and polytechnics and monotechnics in Nigeria. So that is the function of oversight. And even at the level of even youth areas, so NYC camps, they have been there. So all this, so I believe that the 10th Assembly, especially the 10th Senate, has done very well and is still doing very well on the issue of oversight.
Input from stakeholders is essential. So tell us how the lawmakers have leveraged on that.
The majority of us had always been in our constituencies, sitting down with our people, asking questions from them, telling them to, briefing them, and then telling them to give us what they think they need, and then what they want, their input and their say on major areas that the 10th Senate will be looking into.
Thanks for featuring on the news. And moving on, a 2-day national sensitization conference on drug abuse and other vices has ended in Minna, Niger State, with a call for the participating states to cascade the message of dangers of drug abuse and achieve a new Nigeria to grassroots. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that key players from the Nigerian police, NAPTIP and NDLEA led in the sensitization.
The 2-day conference is designed to expose targeted audience on the menace of child trafficking, substance abuse, and other forms of violence against children and women with a view to addressing them. Papers presented dwelt on creating awareness on the importance of implementing existing laws and resolutions for effective service delivery.
Issue of drug and substance abuse in Nigeria is mainly a man thing, but gradually the women folk has now found a place in the issue of substance abuse.
You have stakeholders and community leaders, you must build their capacity for them to understand what trafficking is.
Others corroborated with speakers narrating their ordeals for greater monitoring in their respective states.
I'm speaking shamelessly from the perspective of someone who had abused drugs before but was not a drug addict. And it was because of a failed marriage. A lot of women here, some of them, their marriages are not working, some are in failed marriages, and they get into drugs.
It's a known fact that men send the women to do a lot of these wrong things. And if we can have the men get to understand that whatever happens to A, will surely turn around to happen to B. It will go a long way in helping the men also join in sensitizing the women and the girls.
The sensitization continues in other geopolitical zones to cover the entire nation. From Minna, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
It's time to pause for some messages. The news continues with stories from the state assemblies shortly.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You are watching Parliamentary News reaching you from NTA Parliament, Abuja. You can follow the platforms on the screen for more updates. In an effort to reduce the prevalent rate of HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, and sickle cell anemia, a bill to mandate premarital screening for these ailments has been passed by the Kano State House of Assembly. Samira Hamisu Shira spoke to some of the lawmakers on the effectiveness of the bill in curbing the menace.
A law to provide for compulsory premature HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, sickle cells, genotype testing, and any other test or examination before marriage, and also to prohibit all forms of discrimination and stigmatization against persons living with HIV, AIDS, sickle cells, hepatitis, and other related matters is hereby passed.
The bill, which is a private member bill, was sponsored by Representative Musa Ali Kachuku after his return to the 10th Kano Assembly. It is among the few bills sponsored by the lawmakers. It is aimed at providing a legal framework for the testing of these elements before marriage.
I believe when it's implemented, it's going to go a very long way in curbing down the menace and dangers associated with the of the identified diseases.
There is even a penalty for anybody who victimized or show any sign of stigmatization to carrier of any of these diseases.
These are all deadly diseases that can cause havoc to the livelihood of the family. To reduce incidences of after marriage, discovery of one's status.
According to the provisions of the bill, anyone found guilty of violating the law will be charged a fine or imprisonment. From the Kano State House of Assembly, Samira Hamisu Shira, NTA News.
In Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has passed a resolution calling on the state governor, Umo Eno, to revisit the abandoned Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center, which was initiated in 2008 by the Godswill Akpabio-led administration. And this is sequel to a motion by member representing Ibiono, Ibom State Constituency, Moses Essian, on the need to revisit the development and completion of Ibom Tropicana Center.
The lawmaker is worried that the Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center, situated in the heart of Uyo Metropolis and conceived to boost tourism for the benefit of Akwa Ibom people 16 years ago by the administration of Senator Godswill Akpabio, has been neglected. He recalled that the immediate past governor, in a bid to ensure the continuation of the laudable project, revisited the center, which gave birth to the opening of the shopping malls and cinema in February 2021, which are still operational.
Aware of the fact that government is a continuum, and the security and welfare of the people shall be primary purpose of government. Let this honorable house, the Speaker and the colleagues, communicate a resolution to His Excellency Pastor Moino for his administration to consider refitting and completing at least one component.
Some lawmakers in their various contributions said an investigative committee be set up to unravel circumstances behind the abandonment of the project.
To achieve this tourism destination, a property like the Ibom Tropicana Center should be developed. And developing it will mean that we have more people coming to Akwa Ibom, and we have more people use and access the facilities that we have here. So
buildings there is being habited by hoodlums and making that place and the environment unsafe for people to go through at night or daytime. So when the project is being completed, it will be very good and won't have that challenge of the hoodlums disturbing people. So I saw
has already been released, and it will be wrong for us as a people to allow such amount of money to be wasted in that place.
Speaker Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly directed the clerk of the House to communicate the resolution of the House to the state governor.
Urgently to revisit the development
and completion of the Tropicana Center.
Tropicana Entertainment Center accommodates a shopping mall and cinema, an international convention center with 10,000 seating capacity, 8 meeting rooms, 5-star hotel, a wet and dry theme, as well as an amusement park. Nzika Okon, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nasarawa State House of Assembly has expressed its displeasure over the epileptic power supply situation in the state. The Assembly made this position known when it invited the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, to the chambers of the House for questioning. Adams Abdul Kadiri has more.
Residents of Lafia, like other inhabitants of Nigeria, expressed dissatisfaction with the situation of epileptic power supply and outrageous billing by the Abuja Electricity Distributing Company, AEDC, through their representative member Solomon Yakubu Akwashiki. That is the reason why key stakeholder in the corridor of power distribution is appearing before the House to iron out green areas and fine-tune way forward to this challenge. The situation, which many lawmakers described as horrible, they say it has crippled businesses, leaving young and active youth jobless.
Mr. Chairman, even if your light is 40, they will collect, at the end of the month, they will collect NEPA bill from you. So how long? Looking at Lafia, the weather is very hot. You may follow NEPA for 3 months on a simple issue that doesn't pass more than 300,000. Mr. Chairman, they will never respond to you.
We don't know which band the State House of Assembly is, because as we are here now, the light is off. It's the solar now that the Assembly is now watching you with.
It's unfortunate that the AEDC have denied the people of Toto local government headquarters the opportunity of enjoying what other local governments are enjoying from the national grid.
We understand, but there are some challenges that the people on the field, when we yoke so much with them, it will not get up. We have channels of complaints. We have online and we have the written aspect of it. So let's not think that every complaint that go on within our environment that we are aware. The ones we are aware, we respond.
Abuja Electricity Distribution Company is hereby given 14 days to restore normal light to Nasarawa State. And failure to do that, we have no option to ask them to quit, and we'll invite another company to do the needful so that we satisfy the need of our people in Nasarawa State.
In the meantime, other bills that escaped through first reading include a bill for a law to amend the Nasarawa State Agency for Youth Empowerment Scheme, NAES, and a bill for a law to establish the State Security Trust Fund in Nasarawa State. In Lafia, Adams Abdulkadri.
Well, that's the size of our bulletin for this evening. For more updates, kindly follow NTA Parliament on the platforms scrolling on your screen. Thanks for staying with us. And once again, I am Praise Onwachuku. Bye for now.